ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna everyone. This is our last session of Wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. It is almost close to 21 months since we started this journey of learning practical application of Bhagavad Gita, the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. And we are on 18th chapter now, which is named as Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, or in English it is called Conclusion, the Perfection of Renunciation. This chapter has 78 verses, and total Bhagavad Gita has 700 verses. And we are going to complete all those 700 verses today. We are on the last section of this chapter 18. We have covered till verse number 54, from 29 to 54 in the previous session. So in this chapter, we saw that towards the middle of the chapter, Lord Shri Krishna started talking about how everything in this material world is dictated by the three modes of material nature. And he mentioned the knowledge in three modes, then work in three modes, the worker in three modes. And then in the last session, we were seeing that he was also mentioning how the intelligence is in three modes, buddhi, and then determination, dhriti, which is in three modes, and the happiness also in three modes that he explained. And especially the happiness in goodness, we saw that it is in the beginning, it is very difficult, but in the end, it tastes like nectar. So that is why, when we are trying to follow rules and regulation, when we are trying to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra in the beginning, we always struggle. And then, but if we persist, then over a period of time, we will get the nectarian benefit out of our sadhana. Then we saw the work that is controlled in three modes, and the people who are working under these three modes, which are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So these four categories of or four varnas. So what are their characteristics, and how just by following their prescribed duty, how they can get purified and finally achieve Krishna's abode. So by following the Nishkam Karma Yoga that we saw. And then towards the end of last session, we also saw the transition from Nishkam Karma Yoga to Jnana Yoga, where when they are sufficiently purified, then at that point in time, they can even give up the action, and then they can come to, by following Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga, they can come to the stage of Brahman platform. And that is where we had finished our discussion. Let us continue our discussion to from verse number 55, and we will read three verses together, 55, 56, 57, and then someone can read translation. So verse number 55. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yasyasmi tatvatah tato mam tatvato nyatva vishate tad anantaram sarvakarmanyaphi sada kurvano मद्व्यपाश्रयः मत्प्रसादाद् अवाप्नोति शाश्वतं पदमव्ययम् चेतसा सर्वकर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्परः बुद्धियोगम् उपाश्रित्य मच्चित्तः सततं भव. Yes, Surananda Prabhu, please go ahead.
One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotees under my protection reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace.
Abode.
abode by my grace.
Yeah, one
In
more.
in all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So now from this verse onwards, 55 onwards, 55 onwards, Lord Shri Krishna is starting to talk about Bhakti Yoga. And it is very clear from the first verse that we read. Krishna is saying, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavam yaschasmi tattvataha. So Krishna is saying that Bhaktya mam abhijananti, only devotees can know me as I am. So not a karma yogi, not a jnana yogi, not an ashtanga yogi, they can know Krishna as he is, as a supreme personality of Godhead. It is only possible for a devotee. Only bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yash chasma. Yes. Yeah, my tongue, it is a tongue twisting for me. Yavan yash chasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato nyatva vishate tad anantaram. So only a devotee can know. And then Krishna is saying in the next verse that such a devotee can reach Krishna. How? He's saying mat prasadad. So by my grace, by my mercy, such a devotee will be protected, and then finally he can reach me. He will not be affected by any reactions, and he can directly attain the supreme abode. And the devotees, such a devotee is also very, very subservient and surrendered to Krishna. So in the next verse, Krishna says that in all activities, such a devotee is dependent on me. He is not an independent person. There is like a master and servant relationship between the Lord and the devotee here. And of course, it doesn't have to be only Dasya Bhav. It can be any of the other bhavas. But in any of these other bhavas as well, they can be dependent on Krishna. And they work always under my protection. So they are dependent and they are taking Krishna's protection. And when we see 18.66 and look at surrender, you can see that these two qualities are part of the surrender, that seeking Krishna's protection and know that Krishna is their maintainer. So they are dependent on Krishna. And in such devotional service, they are fully conscious of me. So, so it is Krishna is talking about such a wonderful devotee and how Krishna is reciprocating with a devotee, that only a devotee can know Krishna. Only a devotee can know Krishna, and Krishna gives his grace, his mercy, his prasad to such a devotee. So we can see from these three verses that a pure bhakti is the only way to go back to Lord Krishna's abode. Krishna is saying that only devotee can know me. The devotee is dependent on the Lord, and the Lord reciprocates by giving his mercy. So there is that reciprocal relationship that Lord Shri Krishna had mentioned in the fourth chapter, that he said that ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sathaiva bhajamyaham. So Krishna is saying that those who are surrendered unto me, those who are dependent, they are seeking my protection. So I'll reciprocate by giving them my mercy, and by such a mercy that these devotees can go to Krishna's abode. Um, next three verses are now going to explain what is the result of uh, this devotional service. So let us look at the next three verses, 58 to 60. मच्चिता सर्वदुर्गाणि मत्प्रसादात् तरिष्यसि अथ चेत्त्वम् अहङ्कारं न शोष्यसि विनङ्क्षसि यद् अहङ्कारम् आश्रित्य न योत्स्य इति मन्यसे मिथ्यैष व्यवसायस्ते प्रकृतिस्त्वां नियोक्ष्यति स्वभावजेन कौन्तेय निबद्धा स्वेन कर्मणा कर्तुं नेच्छसि यन्मोहात् करिष्यस्य अवश अवशोऽपि तत्. Yes, Mahendra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. If you do not act according to my direction and do not fight, then you will be falsely directed. By your nature, you will have to be engaged in warfare. Under illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction, but compelled by the work born of your own nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kunti. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So Lord Shri Krishna is explaining the result and the choices that we have. So there are, we have mentioned this before as well in a few sessions, that basically, even though we think that there are multiple, like, or lots of choices that we have, they can be put into only two categories. So either we are choosing Krishna or we are choosing Maya. And under these categories, there may be multiple options. Again, under Maya, there are three high-level options that you are acting, whether you are acting in mode of goodness, mode of passion, or mode of ignorance. So then there can be multiple combinations of these. So Krishna is saying that if you are choosing me, then what will happen? And if you are choosing Maya, what will happen? So he says that if you work as mentioned in these previous three verses that we saw, that how a devotee is seeking Krishna's protection, he's dependent, and he's fully consciousness of Krishna, and that is how he is working on it. Then what will happen is he such a person will pass all obstacles. But if not, then he will become entangled, he will be lost, and he will be acting in false ego. And also, if you again see in the 58th verse as well, Krishna is emphasizing his prasad again. So earlier he talked about his mat prasadat. Again he's saying mat prasadat tarishyasi. So he's emphasizing that a devotee is going to get his grace, his mercy, his prasad is going to be available for devotees. So this is the reason why a devotee doesn't require many lifetimes to go back to Godhead. We have to do some endeavor, and the Lord reciprocates by his mercy, by his prasad. And because of that, we are able to go back to Godhead even in this one single lifetime. It is possible for all of us. No other process can actually give us that guarantee. In all these other processes, because they are dependent only on our endeavor, it takes many lifetimes. Hundreds of lifetimes are required where we are slowly purified by our own endeavors. And then slowly we actually progress on these planetary positions as well, from Bhuloka to Bhuvarloka to Swargaloka, then Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and then finally to Brahmaloka. And then at the end of like at the time of annihilation, then we actually move on to the supreme abode, and that as well, the devotees, such yogis, will not be able to reach the highest level of Goloka. They can either go into Brahman depending on their conception, or they can go to Vaikuntha planets. So this is that is a very slow process. But here, because the Lord is offering his mercy for the devotees, it is easy. Then the Lord is mentioning that your duty is to fight. And even if you try to abandon, the modes will force you to do it. Isn't it? And Krishna has mentioned that before as well, that you want to actually give up your duty, you want to go to Himalayas, and you want to actually start begging as a renunciate, like as a sannyasi. But if someone says something to you, because your Kshatriya nature will then at that time come out, and then you will suddenly take a weapon to kill that person who is saying something to you as a beggar. So it will force you to anyway to do some fighting. So if that is the case, then why you are not fighting? So you should just fight and do your duty. So here the question will come that if the modes are anyway going to force Arjuna to fight, then why Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita fully? Because if not today, after a few months, Arjuna will come and want to fight with Karna and Bhishma and Drona anyway. So why Krishna had to speak Bhagavad Gita? The main reason why Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita is that he wanted Arjuna to fight in proper consciousness, Krishna consciousness. In the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, we saw that Arjuna wanted to give up fighting because he was focused on the self. He was thinking that it is not good for me because my relatives, my friends are on that side, and I will feel a pain when I have to fight against them and I have to kill them. So it was focused, the focus was on bodily consciousness, and he was not thinking about his duty or anything like that. So then he understood he has to do his duty. But Krishna was not satisfied even with that consciousness. He did not want Arjuna to just fight as a karma yogi. So that is why slowly he uplifted his consciousness to come to a stage where he can now say to the Lord that Karishye Vachanam Tava, I will do what you want, O my Lord. So that is Krishna consciousness. He is not giving up his activity. He is not giving up the result or anything like that. He's saying that I will only do what you want me to do. So automatically the activity is offered to Krishna, the result is also offered to Krishna. So he's not now going to give something limited to Krishna. Arjuna is now going to give fully everything to Krishna. And that is what Krishna wanted Arjuna to do. And that is why he has spoken this Bhagavad Gita to lift us from the self-conscious level to come to Krishna conscious level. Remember, we mentioned in the first session itself, in the overview session, that this Bhagavad Gita hasn't only been spoken for Arjuna. He was made as a instrument so that we can actually all get this Bhagavad Gita knowledge for our benefit. So Krishna wants us to uplift. Just like he has uplifted Arjuna during this conversation, he also wants us to get uplifted from the self-focus to Krishna's to focus on Krishna. So from self-consciousness to Krishna consciousness. So that is the journey that the Bhagavad Gita takes us onto. And it purifies the desires. It uplifts the desires that we have in our heart. And Krishna is saying that if you do not follow my orders, you will follow the orders of Maya and you will become Maya's puppet. So there are only two choices that we have. Either we are following Krishna's direction or we are following Maya's direction. And automatically, if you are not following Krishna's direction, that means we are following Maya's direction. So that is what the Lord has said. And now, after giving this knowledge to Arjuna, remember this chapter is also summarizing the entire Bhagavad Gita. So he has previously given confidential knowledge, more confidential knowledge, and most confidential knowledge. So now he is going to move on to giving Arjuna the more confidential knowledge, the knowledge of Paramatma. So we will read the next two verses. 61 and 62. ईश्वर सर्वभूतानां हृद्देश अर्जुन तिष्ठति भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि यन्त्रारूढानि मायया तमेव शरणं गच्छ सर्वभावेन भारत तत्प्रसादात् परां शान्तिं स्थानं प्राप्स्यसि शाश्वतम्. Yes, Vidhi Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjun, and is directing the wandering of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. O Shayan of Bharat, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace, you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme and eternal abode.
Thank you. So the Lord has given an analogy. He's saying that everyone, like this body, he has compared like a machine. So he's saying the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wandering of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. So this body is like a machine made of material energy. And we are sitting there inside that machine, but the machine is getting directed by the Paramatma, the Supreme Lord who's sitting inside everyone's heart. So, simple analogy that he is a puppeteer, the Lord is a puppeteer, the puppet, and so on, he is actually controlling the strings, and we are like the puppet, who's seated on this machine made of material energy. So, is it that then it is mentioned that this Paramatma is directing all our activities? No, we have just seen in the previous verses that we have the option, and again it will become clear in the coming verses. We still have option. We can choose the direction, whether we are going towards Krishna or whether we are going against Krishna and towards Maya. And once we have chosen that direction, then Krishna will actually take us in that direction. So at that time, then he will direct our activities in that direction. But while going in that direction, we still have a choice to turn around and go towards Krishna. And even while we are going in Krishna direction, we still have a choice that we can turn around and go towards Maya. So that can happen. So we have to be always careful and keep going towards the direction of Krishna in the association of devotees. So if we leave the association of devotees, then if we leave the association of devotees, then there are two things which are happening. Then we are only in association of non-devotees, and we are in association of our own mind, which is again a non-devotee. So it is again not pure. It is our enemy when it is not under control. So if we are associating with enemy, it will only cause a lot of damage to us. So that is why we should always remain in the association of devotees, and that way we will keep going in the right direction. And the super soul in the heart will direct us. So Krishna has given this knowledge here, that knowledge of Paramatma, that Supreme Lord is in everyone's heart, body is a machine or a vehicle, living entity seated in the machine, and Paramatma is directing the wandering. So that is why Krishna is saying that we should surrender unto Paramatma and thus attain the transcendental peace in this life and attain the eternal abode in the next life. So the free will that we talked about, that is then the Lord directing everything. Uh, he has mentioned before, but again he's going to confirm that no, it is we still have free will. So let us look at the 63rd verse. Iti te jnanamakhyatam guhyat guhyataram maya vimrushait tad asheshena yathechasi tatha kuru. Yes, Geeta Jayanti Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Thus, I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully, and then do what you wish to do. Thank you, Hare Bol.
Thank you, Mataji. So just see here, after giving this full knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, then Lord Shri Krishna is saying that deliberate on this knowledge fully and do what you want to do. So he has still left the free will onto Arjuna to decide what to do. He has not finally said that only do this. Okay, I have given you all this knowledge. I have given this confidential knowledge. I have given you more confidential knowledge. And before, I have also given you most confidential knowledge. So now, all these verses that I have explained to you, now you analyze the various different paths that I have mentioned to you. And then you deliberate on this. And then you decide what you want to do. So do yathechasi tatha kuru. Do what you wish to do. So the question may come that if Krishna himself has said, do whatever you like, then why are there so many do's and don'ts as regulation in spiritual life? What do you think? If Krishna has said that, yathechasi tatha kuru, do what you want to do, then why we say that, okay, follow the principles, chant at least 16 rounds, associate with devotees, do this, do that, and don't do this, don't do that? Are we contradicting the Lord's instruction, yathechasi tatha kuru? Surananda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. God has given all the options and giving us free will to take the right direction. So to as Lord said, like in the few slokas before, so he said the importance of Bhakti Yoga. So to go in that direction, we need to follow rules and regulations.
Okay. Aparna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. I'm going to try answer the question based on my very limited knowledge. So, Prabhuji, I think Krishna says this to Arjuna that, yatechasi tatha kuru, do what you deem is right, because Arjuna was a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. So, Krishna knew that Arjuna will do the right thing because he is pure. On the other hand, we as a sadhaka, we have to regulate our mind and senses. That's why, senior devotees like yourself and other our guided mentors, they ask us to follow the regulative principles and restrain our senses, etc., etc. Because we have to get to that stage when we can get purified and start following Krishna's instruction. But for that, we need some purity, Prabhuji, and for that, we need to follow some rules and regulations. That is my understanding, Prabhuji.
Okay. Anyone else wants to try? Yes, Mahendra Prabhu.
Guruji, maybe like what I'm thinking is one cannot be forced as long as like you have got transcendental knowledge given by Lord Krishna himself. Okay, so this is what like I can educate you on, and then now it's up to you what you are going to select, and based on the transcendental knowledge, then it's up to you. That's,
Okay.
so you're free to choose what you want, and I guess, yeah, I guess.
Okay. Okay, fine. Vidhi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So I think because Krishna has given us free will and Krishna has given us all the directions, so Krishna wants us to choose him, like go to him out of love, not out of compulsion. It should be our own choice to go to him.
Thank you. So good answers. I think you are in that right direction, all of you. So Krishna hasn't said here that yatechasi tatha kuru, that whatever you want to do, you can do, and the result is going to be the same. He has never said that. So Krishna has given that if you do like this, then if you actually surrender into me, do all these things that I am mentioning to you to do, then you will come to my abode. But if you actually, with false ego, if you keep doing what you want to do, then what will happen is you will remain in this material world and you will remain bound. He has talked elaborately on action in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, and what will happen if you do the actions in these three modes. He has also talked about divine nature and demoniac nature. So, and he has also explained what is the result of continuing to follow the divine and what is the result of following the demoniac nature. So, he has clearly explained that there are multiple paths that you can take, and what will be the result of each of the paths. And the result are different for following the by taking the actions in different modes, divine nature or demoniac nature, or as a pure devotee. So all of these things he has clearly explained. He has never said that do whatever you like and then the result will be same. So when people say that do whatever you like, their idea is that Krishna has said do whatever you like, the result is going to be the same. If the result was going to be the same, no matter what you do, there was no point in speaking this Bhagavad Gita. If Arjuna was saying that I want to actually give up my duty and go to Himalayas, Krishna would have said that, yeah, yatechasi tatha kuru, your result is going to be same. Doesn't matter, you go to Himalayas or you fight here, and no problem. So there was no need for speaking Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita was spoken so that using our free will, we choose the right path, knowing what is going to be the result of these actions that we are taking. So Lord Shri Krishna has given this Bhagavad Gita so that we understand what kind of action that we are doing and what kind of modes that action is in and what is going to be the result of that action. And then we can decide, oh, I'm actually doing this action in mode of ignorance. But there is a better way to do this action, which is in mode of goodness. And even better than that is, as a devotee in pure goodness, we can actually do it in this way. And the result is going to be different for such action. And that is why Lord Shri Krishna has spoken elaborately, even at the midst of the battlefield. When the two sides are just waiting there, they have already blown their conch shells and they want to fight. At that point, he has stopped everything and he has spoken this Bhagavad Gita. So this is a very important topic, that we should understand that not all paths are leading towards Krishna. Different paths will lead to different directions. And only if we choose Krishna by focusing and keeping Krishna in the center, then we are going to reach to him. So that is why it is important to understand the do's and don'ts, and then we can choose finally. No one is going to force us to chant 16 rounds or follow 4 principles or read Bhagavad Gita. We can only explain the benefits of doing it, and then individuals have to decide whether they want to do it or not. The horse can only be taken to the water, but we can't make the horse drink the water, right? Finally, the horse has its own free will to decide whether to drink it or not. So that is what Lord Shri Krishna has done. He has taken the horse to the water now and saying that, he see, here is the water. You are thirsty, but choice is yours. If you want to remain thirsty or you want to drink the water. So this is what this verse is telling us. Yatechasi tatha kuru. Finally, the free will still remains with us. We can choose what we want to do. So what we can learn is that Lord Shri Krishna doesn't take away our free will. We can either choose him and go back to him, or choose Maya and stay in the material world. So these choices are always ours. But we have to always remember, whatever choice that we make, the result is going to be accordingly that we are going to get. Now, after saying that Yathechasi Tathakuru, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions that Arjuna started thinking, oh, so many paths Krishna has mentioned. And looking at the confusion on his face, the Lord became very, very merciful onto Arjuna and then said that, okay, I will tell you the most confidential knowledge myself only. So let us see 64 to 66 verses, these 3 verses, very important verses in the entire Bhagavad Gita. If you forget everything from Bhagavad Gita, no problem, but especially the 65 and 66 verse are the key verses or the summary or essence of the entire Bhagavad Gita. Let us read them. Sarva guhyatamam bhuya shrunu me paramam vachaha ishtosi me drudamiti tato vakshami te hitam manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru मामे वैश्यसि सत्यं ते प्रतिजाने प्रियोऽसि मे सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead, Vidhi Mataji.
Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise this because I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So here you can see 64th verse. Krishna is already explaining that this is Sarva Guhyatamam. Sarva Guhyatamam means the most confidential knowledge of all the knowledge that I have given you. It is Sarva Guhyatamam. It is the most confidential. And I am telling you this because you are my dear friend. So because Arjuna is his dear friend, Krishna is giving him the most confidential, the supreme instruction of all the instructions that he has given till now. So he's saying, hear this from me, for it is for your own benefit. And Krishna says, Bhuyaha. Bhuyaha means I'm telling you again. Because this similar verse, 18.65, he has already mentioned in 9.34. The meaning of that verse and all these 4 instructions that we are seeing in this coming verse, they are already explained by Krishna in 9.34. So that is why he's saying that I'm giving you this, I'm telling you this again. Because I have spoken so many verses after that, you would have now forgotten about it. It may be very confusing that I have told you this, that, and everything. So I'm telling you again as a summary that this instruction that I have already given you before is the supreme instruction that I have for you. That is the most confidential knowledge. You can't find anything better than this in Bhagavad Gita. And Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Vedic literature. That means you can't find a better instruction than what Krishna has given in 65 and 66 in anywhere in the Vedic literature. So that is the importance of these 2 verses, 65 and 66. It is the supreme instruction, most confidential. So what he has mentioned, he has emphasized the devotional service to the Bhagavan aspect, to him, to me, he said. Interestingly, when he was referring to Paramatma, even though he is Paramatma, his reference to Paramatma in the previous verse was, he was saying, surrender unto him. Yeah, in 62, you can say, O sign of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly, to Paramatma, by his grace. He's not saying by my grace. Actually, previously he has already said that I am Paramatma. But just to differentiate between the Bhagwan feature and the Paramatma feature, he has now said little differently. He's saying Paramatma is him, not me. But whereas when Bhagwan feature he is trying to mention for a devotee, he is saying that surrender unto me. Man mana bhava mad bhakto. And then he says, Sarva dharman pradesha mamekam sharanam vraja. So he has emphasized that on me, as that is the supreme instruction. So as the Lord, you can worship him in many different features, like Brahman, which is um, impersonal in nature. Paramatma is also a bit impersonal only. It has a, you can take darshan of Paramatma, it has features, but still it is distributed. And most of the devotees or yogis who are focusing on Paramatma, their conception of Paramatma is still impersonal. But whereas Bhagwan, you cannot have impersonal uh, conception because he is a person in front of you. So that is what is the most confidential knowledge that we have to actually do devotional service to the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna in his Bhagwan feature. And how to do it? What is the process? 4 things are mentioned in this verse number 65. Man mana. Man mana means always think of me. Bhava mad bhakto. Become my devotee. Madhyaji. Madhyaji means worship me. And namaskuru. Offer homage unto me. And if you do like this, then Krishna is saying that thus you will come to me without fail. And I promise you, Krishna is saying, I'm promising you that uh, because you are my very dear friend, so you will come to me. That is the promise that Krishna has given. If you just do these 4 things. Now remember again, this verse importance is based on the previous verse where he has said, this is my supreme instruction. So these 4 things which are given in this verse is the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. If you forget everything, if you just remember that Krishna has asked me to do these 4 things, always think of me, become my devotee. So we have to become Krishna's devotee. We have to worship Krishna and we have to offer our obeisances to Krishna. So if we do like this, our job is done. That is the process of bhakti. This is the most confidential knowledge. And 18.66, there is a doubt that Arjuna was started thinking, oh, Krishna is saying, Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyajimam namaskuru. But what about Karma Yoga? Krishna was actually mentioning about Karma Kanda before, then Karma Yoga, then Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. And do I have to actually go through this ladder and then come to become eligible to do Manmana Bhavo Mad Bhakto Madhyajimam Namaskuru? So to remove that doubt, Krishna has mentioned this verse 18.66. He said, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. And do not worry about all these other processes that I mentioned about doing Karma Kanda to go to heavenly planet, or doing giving up the fruits of your action, Karma Yoga, or giving up the action, Jnana Yoga, and then controlling all your senses and doing Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi, and Ashtanga Yoga. All of these things you don't have to do. Just forget about all of them and forget about all these other duties that you are thinking about it. Just surrender unto me, Krishna says. And aham tvam sarvo papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. And do not worry, you are thinking that if you give up all these duties that you have, you will gather some sinful reactions. No, don't worry. I will take care of it. So that is why it is mentioned that the devotees do not have to actually consider any other duties. But of course, that is mentioned for the pure devotees. For us, we have to actually continue doing our prescribed duties, and in that we have to actually surrender unto the Supreme Lord. We have to have Krishna in the center of our activities instead of keeping ourselves in the center of the activities. So just surrender unto Lord Shri Krishna. And how do we do this surrender? So there are two ways to look at it. One is one answer is given in the previous verse, which are the four things that Krishna has asked us to do. Manmana bhavo, manmana, bhavo madbhakto, madhyaji, and mam namaskuru. So those are the four things that we can do and surrender unto Krishna. But the other way also, a little bit more elaborate way of doing that is also mentioned in this verse. Um, in the purport, you will see this verse, which is quoted from Hari Bhakti Vilas. Anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam rakshisyati vishvaso gopatruptve varanam tatha atmanikshepa karpanye shadvidha sharanagati. So there are 6 things which are mentioned in this surrender process or the sharanagati, because it is not a sentimental process. It is not that you give up everything and just sit in front of Krishna and that is surrender. Surrender, there are 6 factors which are mentioned. So first one is anukulasya sankalpa, that acceptance of those things favorable for devotional service. So things like accepting a spiritual master, association with devotees, chanting Hare Krishna, studying Srimad Bhagavatam Bhagavad Gita, and nectar of instruction actually mentions few other factors, but we are not going into those details now. But in general, at a high level, acceptance of those things which are favorable for devotional service is one limb of the surrender. If you do like this, then you are surrendered. Then the next limb is rejection of unfavorable things. For example, the 4 relative principles that we follow, where we are rejecting meat eating, rejecting gambling, rejecting illicit sex, rejecting intoxication. So those are unfavorable things for devotional service. So if you reject them, that is surrender. Then conviction that Krishna will give protection, which is rakshishya iti vishwaso. That Krishna will give us the protection. So we are dependent on Krishna. We were seeing that in the previous verse today. And then gopatrutve varanam tatha, acceptance of the Lord as one's guardian or master. He is our maintainer. So he is our protector and he is our maintainer. So we have to have conviction and acceptance that Krishna is maintaining me. Krishna is protecting me. And then full self-surrender. By your body, mind, and words, we should be surrendered to Krishna. And the last part is humility. Humility is where you are not focusing on yourself, but you are keeping Krishna in the center and thinking less of ourselves and thinking more of Krishna. So that is the process of humility. So when we are actually doing these 6 factors, then we are surrendered to Krishna. So the learning that we can take, the most important learning of Bhagavad Gita from this, from these 2 verses, is that there are these 4 things that we have to do. Manmana, which is always think of Krishna. Bhava Mad Bhakta, which is becoming Krishna's devotees. Madhyaji, which is worship Krishna. Mam Namaskuru, offer obeisances to Krishna. And by doing this, we can become a pure devotee of Krishna. And then he will free us up from all sinful reactions, and then we can easily go back to Godhead. So this is the supreme instruction of the Supreme Lord. And after explaining the supreme instruction, the Lord is continuing. He's saying that now that I have given you all this knowledge, and of course through Arjuna, he has given this knowledge to all of us. So what should we actually be doing about this knowledge? So that he has explained in the next few verses, 67 to 71. Let us read those verses together, 67 to 71. Idam te na tapaskaya na bhaktāya kadāchana na cha shushrushve vāchyam na cha mam yobhyasuyati ya idam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshva abhidhasyati bhaktim mayi param krutva mame vaishyate samshayah न च तस्मान् मनुष्येषु कश्चिन्मे प्रियकृत्तमः भविता न च मे तस्माद् अन्या प्रियतरो भुवि अधेष्यते च य इमं धर्म्यं संवादमावयोः ज्ञानयज्ञेन तेनाहम् इष्टास्यामिति मे मतिः श्रद्धावान् अनसूयश्च शृणुयादपि यो नरः सोऽपि मुक्ता शुभान् लोकान् Prapnuyat punya karmanam. Yeah, go ahead, Mahendra Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. For one who explains his supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of our worships me by his intelligence, and one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So first of all, Krishna is saying that this knowledge should be given out. It should be distributed. But he has actually put some conditions. Conditions apply with the star. We have in all these offers or whatever, 70%, up to 70% offer. And then there is a star somewhere. And then there are lots of conditions which are mentioned. So here Krishna said that this knowledge should be distributed, but this knowledge should be explained to whom? It shouldn't be given to someone who is not austere, who is not devoted, or engaged in devotional service, or someone who is envious of me. So to these people, it should not be given. And what are the benefits of distributing this knowledge? So he has mentioned that what should be done to with this knowledge, and then explain the benefits as well. So first of all, he's saying distributed. This knowledge should be distributed. And such a person who's distributing the knowledge, then to such a person, pure devotional service is guaranteed. And this person will go to Krishna and he will become the most dear servant of Krishna. And he's saying that there is no one else who can be more dear to me than the person who is actually giving this knowledge to others. So the teacher gets benefited. The students also get benefited. Study it. So what this knowledge should be? So first, Krishna said distribute it. Second is saying study it. So some person who's studying it, he is worshipping Krishna by using his own intelligence. And Krishna has repeatedly mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that we have to actually engage our mind and intelligence in Krishna's service. And intelligence can control the mind. So if you actually worship Krishna with our intelligence, then our intelligence will be purified, it will become stronger, then our mind will also come under our control, and then we will be able to worship Krishna using our mind and intelligence both. Maya arpita mano buddhir. Both will happen. So we can study the Bhagavad Gita. Even just hearing it with faith and without envy, there is a good result. That we get freedom from all sinful reactions and attain to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. So Krishna is saying that distribute this knowledge, study the knowledge, and hear it with faith and without envy. And everything is going to get benefit. So what we have to do is we have to read, study, and explain this Bhagavad Gita to others regularly. So we have to study and explain. We have to read and study first, start implementing in our life, and then explain this knowledge to others. And then Krishna, who's sitting in your heart, and Krishna is sitting in the person who's hearing from you, will also get benefited. So that they can, because Krishna, as a Paramatma, can give them the understanding by which they can go towards Krishna. So these are the benefits. Mahendra Prabhu, do you have a question?
Yeah, Prabhuji, a quick one.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, getting a bit confused with verse 67. Like, why is it said that those who are not devoted or not austere or not engaged in devotional service, because then in which way they will get this transcendental knowledge?
Yeah, the reason why Krishna is saying that you should not explain this knowledge to others who are especially envious. The main important point there is envious. So it is simple that if, say, suppose someone is envious, and then we actually go to that person, envious of someone, and we go to that person and try to glorify the person who that person is envious of, what is going to happen? What will happen, Prabhu?
Will be more envy of that person.
More envy.
That yeah.
Yeah, his envy will increase, as well
Yeah.
as he will start saying that, hey, you are saying that person is very good, but you don't know how he is. He has done like this, he's like that, and he will start blaspheming that person, isn't it?
Yeah.
So by explaining glories of Sri Krishna to the people who are envious of him, we will actually incite them to do more offenses towards Lord Sri Krishna. And then we may get entangled in that offense as well. So that is why Krishna is saying that don't explain this to the people who are envious of me. And the reason why he has mentioned about those who are not austere or not devoted. So all of this is mentioned for the in the the very detailed or advanced knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. We should not be explaining to those people who are not austere, because they will not be able to get benefit out of it. So at that point, we have to actually give them some initial basic knowledge and see whether they are ready to ready to follow those instructions and go in the right direction. If you see that they are progressing in that direction, we can give a little bit more advanced knowledge from Bhagavad Gita to them. And then see if they are implementing, they are progressing, and then we can give further. We should not be actually going and telling anyone that, oh, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the ultimate, and that is why you have to do Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto Madhyajimam Namaskuru. That's not going to happen. That's not going to help them. Simple as we were also talking about earlier. So suppose someone who's eating meat for breakfast, lunch, dinner all 7 days a week. There is no point in going and telling them that you should start following four letter principles and start doing Ekadashi every 15 days. And on 50 in those Ekadashis, you don't eat this, don't eat that, and whatever. He's saying that forget it. This is not applicable for me. I can't do it. Because the student is not ready to accept that instruction. But for that such a person, the instruction is, are you are eating for 7 days for breakfast, lunch, dinner. Maybe one of the days you try having some vegetarian food, or even for one of the meals you can start having a vegetarian food. That is the instruction that the person may be able to accept. And then if he accepts that, he is starting to do some austerity. And then such a person is ready, is eligible to make some further progress, and we can give them further knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And that is how that person will be progressing further. Is that making sense?
Yeah, it's making sense, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Aparna Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat.
So, Prabhuji, I have got a few questions from the previous verses, but then I will hold off until the session is completed and then you will give us chance to speak. But one question is pertaining to this specific verse, Prabhuji. Sorry. So, Prabhuji, this verse says that any devotee who is preaching about this, confidential knowledge to others who are deserving of knowing that knowledge becomes a pure devotee, like gets to become a pure devotee.
That's
Yes,
correct.
so Prabhuji, it's more like a curiosity than a question. So yourself and Mataji have been teaching this for I don't know how many years. I've just got limited exposure, like few years since I know you both and every other devotee. So if we call you pure devotee, you never take it, you never accept it. So how does it
Because we
feel?
are not.
But you've been preaching now, Prabhuji, so that
No,
goes
no,
that
yeah.
that
So
that
Krishna has
contradicts.
said, yeah, that's right. The question is, so the point Krishna is saying that yes, such a devotee will become very dear to Krishna, and Krishna is going to provide us his grace and his mercy. And how that grace and mercy will come? Krishna will reciprocate within the heart, because he is sitting within the heart. So from there, he will reciprocate through the deities that he can reciprocate, and through his representative, the spiritual master, that he can reciprocate, as well as the devotees who you are trying to pass on the information. They can also give you various different realizations, and they will help you onto your journey of purification. So when Krishna is pleased, then this purification process will become faster. And then when we are getting purified, then there is a chance that in this lifetime we will become pure. So we are on the path of purification. So it is not that we are pure, we are on the path of purification. And then it takes a while. It is not an instantly that happens. Of course, Krishna can do it instantly as well.
Yeah.
But for us, he hasn't done that instantly. So we are on the path of purification, and we still have a lot of anarthas remaining. We still do not have enough ruchi, asakti, bhav, prem for Krishna. So we are still engaged in material activities. Because of all of that, we are still not pure devotees. We want
Oh,
to be.
Prabhuji.
We want to become Krishna's pure devotees. That is our desire, but definitely we are
Yeah.
not yet there.
Well, Prabhuji, I respect your response very much. Thank you, but it's hard to take. But I will, yeah, I don't want to go into further. But of course, to us, you're purifying so many of, not purifying, but you are making us go into that path of purification. So, well, the analogy is simple that anyone who's purified can only make others pure. But anyway, that is
Yeah,
my
that
thought
is
process.
possible. That is possible. The reason is because Krishna's knowledge is pure. And the knowledge that I'm sharing is coming from a pure devotee, which is Srila Prabhupada. The
Yeah.
only the credit that I can take is that I'm trying to pass this knowledge as it is, as per my own understanding and realization of this knowledge. I'm trying to pass that knowledge. Because of the potency of the knowledge, everyone
Yeah.
get purified. And of course,
Yes.
while the knowledge is passing, I will also get purified. So it is benefiting me, and it is benefiting everyone else as well. Definitely,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
definitely the teacher gets more benefit out of these sessions as compared to the students. But the
Yeah.
students also are benefited, and students can also become teacher over a period of time. Let us move on. I want to complete this
Sure.
chapter.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So let us read what is Arjuna's realization after this receiving this knowledge from Lord Shri Krishna. So we'll see 72 and 73, two verses, and then the last few verses are Sanjaya's realization. So 72. Kachid echat shrutam partha त्वयैकाग्रेण चेतसा कच्चिद् अज्ञान सम्मोह प्रणष्टस्ते धनञ्जय. Arjuna Uvacha Nashto Moha Smrutirlabdha Vachprasadan Mayachyuta Sthitosmi Gata Sandeha Karishye Vachanam Tava. Who wants to read?
Krishna Prabhu, can I read?
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Krishna Prabhu. O son of Pratha, O conquerors of the wealth, have you heard this with an attentive mind, and are your ignorance and illusion now dispelled? Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I, I am now firm and free from doubts and am prepared to act according to your instructions. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Very important verses where Arjuna is actually mentioning now what is his state of mind. You remember, all of you must be remembering that in the first chapter, Arjuna was mentioning his state of mind. And he was saying, I am now confused. I'm now completely illusioned. I don't know what to do. I don't know what not to do. So please tell me what is the right thing to do. So that is where the Bhagavad Gita started. And how it is ending? Arjuna is now saying that Nashta Moha Smritir Labdha. There are my, he's okay. He's saying my illusion is now gone. So illusion that he was in before, that is completely gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. In the first chapter, he had said in the 1.30 that my memory is lost. I am now firm and free from doubt. He was saying that I don't know what to do, and he was giving various different reasons why I should not fight. But now he's saying that I am now free, I'm firm, and all my doubts are gone. But the most important point that he mentioned is Karishye Vachanam Tava. He did not say that I am going to actually fight because it is my duty. He did not say that I will fight because I want to go to a heavenly planet, or I want to fight because of this reason or that reason. Arjuna is saying that I am prepared to act according to your instruction. If you ask me to fight, I will fight. If you ask me to stop fighting and go to Himalaya, I will do that. That is Krishna consciousness. This is the difference between Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Karma Yoga is you are trying to do what you want to do and then offering the result to Krishna. And in Bhakti Yoga, you're trying to do what Krishna wants you to do. And you can understand what Krishna wants you to do, even if Krishna is not in front of you. In that situation, you can actually read Krishna's instructions from Bhagavad Gita and also receive instructions from your spiritual master. Accept a spiritual master, Krishna's representative, and from them you will understand what is the right thing for you to do. What is Krishna's will? Then you can align your will to Krishna's will. So this entire Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Again, I mentioned few verses before. This was for purifying Arjuna's desire. And through his medium, Lord Shri Krishna is trying to purify our desires. From self-consciousness, he wants to actually bring us to Krishna consciousness. Now, Sanjay has been also hearing this Bhagavad Gita, this instructions. So what he's saying, 74 to 78 verses. So Sanjay's realization. Sanjay Uvacha Ityaham Vasudevasya Parthasya cha Mahatmanah Samvadam imam shausham Adbhutam Roma Harshanam Vyasaprasadat Shrutvan Etad Guhyamaham Param Yogam Yogeshwarat Krishnat Sakshat Kathayata Swayam Rajan Samsmritya Samvadam imam Adbhutam Keshavarjunayo Punyam Rishyami cha Muhurmuhu तच्च संस्मृत्य रूपमत्यद्भुतं हरे विस्मयो मे महन् राजन् हृष्यामि च पुनः पुनः यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर्ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम. Who wants to read the last translations? Last few. Okay, Surananda Prabhu raised his hand first. Let us go ahead with him.
Thank you, Guruji. Sanjaya said, Thus have I heard the conversation of two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna. And so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. By the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. O king, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure, being thrilled at every moment. O king, as I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with wonder and more, and I rejoice again and again. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will be also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. Correct.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So here Sanjaya's realizations are shared. What Sanjay is saying, that just by hearing these instructions of Bhagavad Gita, which Lord Shri Krishna gave to Arjuna, but because of Vyasadeva's mercy, Sanjay was also able to hear. So he is feeling ecstatic. His hairs are standing on end. And he is recalling that just because by the mercy of his spiritual master Vyasadeva, he has received this opportunity to hear. Otherwise, it was not possible for him to hear. He got this Divya Drishti by which he is able to see and hear what is happening in the battlefield, on the battlefield. And he's finding thrilling pleasure at every moment just by remembering what he has heard. He's struck with wonder and rejoices it again and again. And finally, he gives his conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita. He's saying, like, because he's speaking to Dhritarashtra, and Dhritarashtra in the first chapter was asking, what are the chances of like, my sons and Pandu's sons are actually assembled on the battlefield? Dharma kshetre, kurukshetre, samaveta yuyusava, mamaka pandava shaiva kim kurvata Sanjaya? He asked that question. So his meaning was that my sons and Pandu's sons are there. What are the chances of my sons winning this battle? What is the situation? So Sanjay has finally mentioned to him that wherever there is Arjuna and wherever there is Krishna. So Krishna, Bhakta, Arjuna is Bhakta, and Krishna is Bhagwan. So whenever there is Bhagwan and Bhakta, if is there, then that is where the opulence is going to be there, victory is going to be there, extraordinary power is going to be there, and morality is going to be there. So obviously, then it is Arjuna and Yudhishthir Maharaj is going to be victorious. There is no chance that Duryodhan and Karna, even though there are Drona and Bhishma on that side, they can win because they are not on Krishna's side. They are standing on the opposite side of Krishna. So no matter how powerful those warriors are, they have no chance of winning. And this verse also explains and clarifies many doubts. Many people think that whether this Bhagavad Gita should be kept in their home or not, because some people have this misconception that if you keep Bhagavad Gita at home, then there will be Mahabharata at home. So this is baseless and this is ridiculous. Mahabharata, without Bhagavad Gita as well, Mahabharata happens at home. With Bhagavad Gita being there, there is a chance that you will be able to get opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. So by not keeping Bhagavad Gita at home, you are losing out on all these factors. Because Krishna is absolute. So Bhagavad Gita is the knowledge given by Krishna. So Bhagavad Gita is also a swarupa of Krishna. So by bringing Bhagavad Gita at our home, that means Krishna is coming to our home. Krishna has already said, those who read Bhagavad Gita, what is the benefit? Those who study Bhagavad Gita, what is the benefit? Those who implement and then actually explain that to others, what is the benefit? So thinking that just by bringing Bhagavad Gita, there is going to be Mahabharata, that is foolishness. So finally, for this entire Bhagavad Gita, if you want to just take one message, then just surrender unto Lord Krishna. And how you can do it? By chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Anukulasya Sankalpa. Whatever helps, that we have to keep doing, which is chanting the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We should chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every day, and we have to follow the four relative principles, which is Pratikulasya Varjanam. The four relative principles are no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex. And we should also remember that Bhagavad Gita was not spoken to some sannyasi. We mentioned this in the first session, overview session. But again, I'm repeating here that it is not spoken to a sannyasi or to a brahmachari. It was spoken to Arjuna, who's like you and me. He has the full-time job. He's a kshatriya. He's a prince. He's like a king. Yudhishthir Maharaj is the king, but I'm saying he's like a king. He's representing the king. So he has lot of work. He's a grahastha. He's married as well. He has his family to look after, friends to look after. And it is not that he was just free. He like he was retired or something like that. And then at that time, the Bhagavad Gita was spoken to him. No, he was in his prime of youth, and when Bhagavad Gita was spoken to him, also it was a very busy time for him. It was not like he had some long weekend and then he was just sitting on a sofa somewhere and Krishna started speaking Bhagavad Gita. No, he was the most busy at that time. He was right in the middle of the battlefield. And at that point in time, still he found time to hear Bhagavad Gita. So we have to actually find time to read, study Bhagavad Gita and start to understand the knowledge which is given there, start to implement that in our day-to-day life, and then make our life successful. So we will finish here our journey of understanding Bhagavad Gita and the practical knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, trying to understand the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita, and understanding that it is not only a theoretical book. There is quite a lot of knowledge which is given, but it is also a practical book which we can implement in our day-to-day life. So I have only covered a few bits and pieces from the Bhagavad Gita. There are, I would say that it is not even a single drop of the ocean that has been shared in these sessions that we have done till now. There is much more in Bhagavad Gita than we have talked about. So I seriously request everyone that you should read Bhagavad Gita from cover to cover. Like you should read all the purports of Srila Prabhupada and the word-to-word meaning, the verses which are given, and then think about it. What Srila Prabhupada is trying to pass on, like what knowledge he is trying to give it to us. What practical things that we can do or we can learn from each of the verse which is in Bhagavad Gita. If we do like this, keep Bhagavad Gita in the center of our life, then our actions will be proper and Krishna will always be guiding us and we will make our life successful. And at the end of life, we can go back to Krishna. Thank you very much. If there are any realizations, questions, comments, we can take them now. Yes, Mahendra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. First of all, thank you very much for so many wonderful sessions. Yeah, truly appreciate your efforts. Like, always thought of understanding Bhagavad Gita and lucky enough to, explain it by you, a pure devotee. So really appreciate and thank you very much.
I told you already, I'm
Yeah.
not a pure devotee. There is no chance. Like
Yeah,
I'm
for
not
us,
even.
like you are like our Shiksha Guru Prabhuji, right? So thank you very much.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, couple of points I'll mention. Maybe I've
Yeah.
got one quick question. So you have mentioned that in several classes as well. Like, so there is a reciprocal relationship between Lord Krishna and pure devotee, and the bhakti is the ultimate, thing what you should do. Why Bhagavad Gita was said by Lord Krishna was Krishna wanted Arjuna to be conscious, like that Krishna consciousness,
Krishna.
whatever his actions are need to be. So self-conscious to Krishna consciousness. That's the purpose of the whole Bhagavad Gita you mentioned. And another point I would like to mention is the most confidential knowledge is always think of Lord Krishna, become his devotee, worship him, and offer homage to him. Quick question, Prabhuji. I personally struggle to understand each and every verse, and I spent some time understanding it. in reality, how much time it took on the, like in Kurukshetra, right from the first verse to last verse, how much overall time it took, and the conversation, how much time it took between Krishna and Arjuna?
Yeah, it is said that it was spoken in 45 minutes. I
Wow.
don't know how that happened for in 45 minutes, but because when we try to recite Bhagavad Gita on Gita Jayanti day fully, it takes 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
But it is mentioned that it took around 45 minutes for this conversation to happen.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Aparna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam.
Hare.
Like I said in the beginning, I just have two questions, Prabhuji. Is it okay,
Go
or
ahead.
should I just? Thank you, Prabhuji. First question was in the initial like verses which we were discussing. I forgot the count, Prabhuji. Was it seven? Yes, 60 something.
Yes.
Dependence on Krishna, Prabhuji. So sometimes sometimes I get confused about people say that, oh, you don't depend on Krishna for everything because Krishna has given you, brain and hands and legs and do things according to your wisdom and then depend on big things from Krishna. But what is your understanding, Prabhuji? What type of dependence is the best dependence and, recommended by Shastras and scriptures, Prabhuji?
Yeah, so dependence, when we say that depend on Krishna, that doesn't mean that we don't have to do our activity. Always remember that it is endeavor and mercy. If you do our endeavor, then mercy is going to come from Krishna. So when we are saying depend on Krishna, is that we do our endeavor and then for result depend on Krishna. Then you
Yeah.
don't worry about once you have actually done your action, you don't worry about whether you will get the result or not. You actually just have full faith that whatever is good for you, Krishna will make it happen. And then whatever is happening, then we just say that this is Krishna's plan for me. Then you don't worry, Array, I wanted this was my plan. I was doing all of this because I wanted to get this result. But then somehow or the other, now this has happened. So what should I do? If you actually have this mentality that my plan is supreme and Krishna should actually fulfill that plan for my endeavors, then Krishna exists. Like if my plan gets fulfilled, whatever result
Yeah.
I wanted, if that happens, then Krishna exists, then it will be a problem. But if we have this mentality that I am actually doing my process of bhakti and I am actually doing all these actions in Krishna consciousness, now the results are up to Krishna. Once you think like this, then whatever is happening, whatever result you are getting, you can understand that this is Krishna's plan for you. You wanted to do this, but still Krishna has given you this other result. So I will just depend on Krishna, accept this result, and then now in this situation, what is the best activity that I can do, best action I can do? Again, do that action, and then wait for or depend on Krishna for the result. The dependence which is mentioned in this surrender verse is um, we have actually quite a lot of dependence on all other things which are not Krishna. For example, we depend on our wealth, we are dependent on some insurances, we dependent on other people to protect us, other people to maintain us, all of these things which are there. So this has become an inherent inside us that we are dependent on all these things. And then if your bhakti is going in right direction, Krishna will actually give you the realizations from within that in this flick of this two fingers, your wealth can be gone. What you're dependent on. In the flick of two fingers, like something else will be gone. And then you will realize, Array, I was dependent on my investments. I was dependent on so much money and so much these things, but suddenly it is gone. And then you will understand that, oh, actually I should depend on Krishna. And your faith will increase and your like dependence on Krishna will increase like that. But that is of course if we have the right mindset. Otherwise, in same situation, someone will say that Krishna doesn't exist. I'm doing this bhakti, I will go away. So if we are going in right direction, only then Krishna will actually give us this right realizations.
Sure. Thank you, Prabhuji. Beautifully explained. And it is, yeah, it is making a lot of sense. Thank you. My second question was, Prabhuji, in later on verses, you said that, of course, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that one can either follow Maya's instructions or Maya's direction or Krishna's direction. So, Prabhuji, for sadhaka, like a practicing devotee like myself or, many others, we cannot do we tend to follow Maya or do we tend to follow Krishna or do we tend to follow both directions, Prabhuji? How do we identify ourselves? I mean, we are in that path towards Krishna, but not quite there yet. So
Correct. Because we are not purified yet completely. So Maya's path is what finally? Doing actions in mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. If you actually look at your own life, you can actually figure out whether you are actually doing any actions which are in goodness, passion, ignorance, or are they all pure in pure goodness. And we will actually find easily that, okay, there are few activities which are in pure goodness, which are few activities which are in goodness, few activities which are in passion, many are in ignorance, like that.
yeah,
And automatically we understand that we have taken a direction. We have now a goal and we have started going towards that goal. But that doesn't make us immediately pure. The only thing that has happened is we have chosen the right direction. We are going towards the right goal. So that is why Krishna is going to help us. So because we have taken this direction that we are going towards Krishna, Krishna is going to help us. But that doesn't mean like immediately today itself, all our choices that we are making, they are we are choosing always Krishna. Sometimes in some things we are choosing Maya. Sometimes we are choosing Krishna. But the good thing is earlier 100 out of 100 desires were Maya conscious.
yeah,
Now possibly out of 100, two desires are Krishna conscious and 98 are still Maya conscious. But if we continue those two desires which is in Krishna conscious, it is possible that tomorrow 5 desires will be Krishna conscious, 95 will be Maya. And that is the process of purification. One day will come when all our desires are Krishna conscious. And we are not having desires which are Maya conscious.
sure. Thank you, Prabhuji. Marvelous. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna, and thank you
Hare
so much
Krishna.
for this wonderful session, Prabhuji. And yeah, really highly indebted to you for everything. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Surananda Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thanks for spending a lot of time, Prabhuji, to enlighten us. Got a few points today. Krishna is clearly saying though he has got many forms, so he is Bhagavan himself. So all the other forms are expansions. So other thing is as a loving father. So he's clearly saying like you should go in this path. If you are going in the other path, you will get into trouble.
Yeah, very good, Prabhuji. Thank you. Anyone else has any other realizations or any other comments? Yes, Vidhi Mataji,
Hare
or
Krishna, Hare
questions?
Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, let Vidhi Mataji continue and then Ashoka Mataji, you can say.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much for your inspiration to read and study Bhagavad Gita. And I would like to say that last few verses of spoken by Sanjaya that wonders me so much because many people say that we all are like as Arjun and we all have questions in our life and Krishna is giving the answers. But I feel myself more relatable to Sanjaya that who can just enjoy and be wondrous and can hear the dialogue between Krishna and Arjun. And I'm very good association of you to hear from you and Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Actually, Sanjay's situation is different than Arjuna's situation. So we are many times in our life, we are in Sanjay's situation and many times we are in Arjuna's situation. And in both situations, we should be able to remember Bhagavad Gita at that time. So Sanjay's situation is that he is not actually in very precarious situation, that he's not in the battlefield, he's not having any dilemma or anything. He's like away from the battlefield, just sitting in the palace with Dhritarashtra. And so seemingly it is a good situation. But still in that situation, he's remembering Krishna, and he's saying that Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara. So he is still understanding that by the mercy of Vyasadeva. But our life is mix of this nice, comfortable situations, and then a situation like Arjuna, where he is in the difficult condition, he is not able to understand what to do, what not to do, and in that time as well, we should remember Krishna. So both Sanjay's situation and Arjuna's situation, we should be able to use Bhagavad Gita to progress in our Krishna consciousness. Okay,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
fine. Ashoka Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. My question is, when will you start Srimad Bhagavatam?
Yeah, we will start soon. In this month itself, we are thinking of starting, and I'll post the message there.
But I have this question, and thank you so much, Prabhu. You just gave me a good knowledge and great knowledge for us. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Anyone else has any final comments?
Bless you, Bacha.
No? So in the end, I would really like to thank you all for giving me this opportunity to study the Bhagavad Gita again from a different angle, from the practical application perspective. So we'll stop here, and we will see when we can start the Srimad Bhagavatam journey. I'm hoping that towards the end of this month itself, we will start Srimad Bhagavatam study. So I will send a separate message for it. Okay, we will stop here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai,
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Hare Krishna, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Hare Krishna.
Hare